Thursday lunchtime. And Simon, that means we talk boxing, and we are in the company not only of Spencer, our great chum and colleague here at talkSPORT, but Angel Fernandez, top boxing trainer, who's going into action fairly soon with Richard Riakporhe, amongst others. But Angel, a lot of reaction to what we've been talking about the career of Anthony Joshua, because you've been working with him since the second fight against Andy Ruiz, which he won, since the fight against Kubrat Pulev, which he won. Of course, the 2 fights against Usyk, which he lost. And now he goes in against Francis Ngannou in Saudi. What do you expect us to see from AJ against Ngannou?
Obviously, I will see a more kind of like calm, composed AJ, not getting involved, sticky behind the jab, use the distance, use the feet, and get a comfortable win. Maybe possibly end up knocking Ngannou out late in the rounds.
Do you like these crossover fights? Are you a fan of them? Someone from another sport, essentially, now in boxing. You're not a fan.
Interesting question, because I mean, at the end of the day, we have to understand the modern times. I'm kind of like, in my mind, I'm old school, you know. I just boxing to boxing, UFC to UFC. But listen, with the figures that they're talking about, any fighter will jump in the ring. So I will have to go and agree with it.
Yeah. What happens if AJ loses this fight? Is it the end?
It would be definitely a bigger step back, and possibly the end of his career, really. I mean, losing against Ngannou, I mean, I don't know where would it go after that fight, but I want to keep myself, you know, like positive. I'm not working with him. He's got a great team behind, and I do see him becoming victorious in that fight.
Of course. Someone you are working with is Richard Riakporhe. And all the talk is Richard, and Simon and Spencer, and I know him very well, and you're working with him, is going to go in against Chris Billam-Smith. What can you tell us this lunchtime?
He's training well. He's progressing well. We know who we're going to face. We expect the best Chris Billam-Smith, but also, you know, I would like to say to them that they're going to be expecting the best Richard Riakporhe, and we won't know till that fight happens. So in the meantime, we just can't talk like good games, you know.
What do you think is the difference between the two fighters? They fought once before, which Riakporhe won, and Chris has now gone on and won a world title, so that gives him a different feel, a different look. I've been to his last 2 fights against the Coley and against Mashtanek, where he came through a difficult period in that fight. I've also spoken to people, not you, but people around Richard, that are saying that Richard's mental approach has changed, that he now believes in himself more. What do you expect to see this fight look like? Because they're going to get together, whether it's at the Vitality or whether it's at Selhurst Park. And if I'm Chris Billam-Smith, I would have it at the Vitality because I'm the world champion. I want it in front of my home crowds. What do you expect of this fight?
I'm expecting to see Richard becoming a cruiserweight champion of the world.
How?
With all due respect, by knockout.
Really?
Yeah.
Angel, I wanted to ask you a question about Richard. Simon touched on it there. You know, you go back to 2019. You know, when he boxed Chris Billam-Smith, and there was, you know, he didn't really have that confidence in his own ability, you know, but I think his technical ability got him through that one. It was a close fight. He's improved a lot since then, and mentally he seems to have got a lot stronger. How does a fighter do that? Like, how has he gained that self-belief?
Self-belief comes from communication, from talking, to understand the purpose, why you want to do what you're doing, where you want to head, to where you want to head, like the dreams that you have, and then we start breaking little things down to the point. Just to give you a great example with Richard, first fight that we did with Tardowski, that I think it was our first fight. Obviously, I see a bit Richard, a low body language, like breathing very heavy, closing the eyes, blinking eyes, but that doesn't mean that he was gassing. So kind of like in my head, I was thinking, what can I do to make this guy like breathing and control? So what we started doing was, after the boxing sessions, because we have great facilities at Loughborough University, we got everything, all the support in there. So I just like to say thank you to them, you know, just like to keep supporting us. But after the sessions, I used to take Richard for 20 minutes to swimming, and I used to go under the water, 5 strokes, up the water, 3 strokes, 20 minutes constant, and just like keep reminding calm, then putting in situations where adversity, and when I'm saying adversity, is pure adversity. Put him in the ring, 30 minutes of sparring straight with no break, changing sparring partners, talking to him, and just making him used to hear my voice, and understand as well. I just read this book, understand this book. After sparring, after training, analyze everything. Richard, this, I believe you have to have these uncomfortable conversations where it has to be honest to myself, and I have to be honest to him.
Because he always had the physical attributes, didn't he? But it was the self-belief that he was struggling. You know, we're talking about the Anthony Joshua situation. It's interesting to see how a trainer gets the fighter to believe in himself and turn that around, because that is 80% of the whole game, isn't it?
I would probably say 90.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, it's not the physical side, because it is the mental side. Because when you get into the penultimate rounds of a fight, then it becomes, you know, the physicality sort of like go out of it, and it's all the psychological battle that wins and loses fights.
Yes, 100%. And you know, like in the past, a lot of people, they just lose the fight in the changing room. Yeah, you know, and I think what Richard will end up doing, and that's what we're trying to do. People will end up defeated in the ring when they're facing him.